Hi guys, so this video is talking about Evaluation 3 as it's discussed in the Chief Examiners Report. Evaluation 3 is the last part that you write in your research project evaluation, and it's actually assessing how successful your outcome was, how much it answers your question, things like that. So if you look at the Chief Examiners Report that you've got in front of you, that would be really handy. What I want you to understand first of all is that you need to talk about explicitly how successful your outcome was in answering your question. You need to say, was your question resolved? That's probably the first thing that you need to talk about. Did you actually find an answer? And give evidence to tell the person who's marking it how you know that that answer was successful, how you know that answer was valid, how do you know that answer was reliable. All right. What I also need you to identify is that you can evaluate the outcome based on the quality of the sources that you use. So how valid and reliable were the sources? You're going to talk about the processes used with those sources earlier in your evaluation, but this time you're actually looking at how great the sources were. Also look at how suitable the findings were for the audience that you're directing it at, how clear the findings were. Was there any, were they substantiated over and over again? That's the kind of information that you're looking for. So have a look at those dot points that are currently on the screen. The one that says talk about these next to it, make sure you talk about them. You talk about in this section who your audience was that you're directing at and how successful you were in creating an outcome that was appropriate for that audience or attractive to that audience. Remember, depending on your question, your audience is different. So if you're talking, I've given this example before, if you're talking to people in the CWA about making scones for the Royal Adelaide Show, that's different to talking about cyberbullying for teenagers in high school. Therefore, those outcomes will look different, but they should be appropriate for the audience that you're directing it at. So make sure you talk about how appropriate it was and how clear it was in getting the message across. Not everything that you talk about in your outcome actually has to be good. Sometimes it's really great to be objective, to understand that perhaps it's not as fantastic as what you wish it was. However, based on the sources that you're able to access, this is probably as good as it was going to get. Talk about things like credibility and reliability of your outcome as a source itself. Would this be useful for someone also studying this topic? Why, how, what would you do differently in the future? Okay guys, so what's happened is that I've gotten to the end of this and realised that I've already covered all of it anyway. Just make sure that you talk about your outcome, how successful it was, if you match the audience, if it's valid and reliable, and if there are limitations to your outcome, absolutely talk about it. You're completely allowed to do that. All right, I'm now done. This is it. I'm going to say goodbye and for this video because there's another one that you need to watch at the end. But other than that, we're almost there. We're almost there.